and welcome to your energy update for the week of February 24th. We have a lot of big energy coming in, and I feel like every week I'm saying this, and it's so true. And yet we have quite a bit coming in this week as we are preparing for the new moon, as we have some shifts with Mars going retrograde. We're getting ready to really we're welcoming in the Pisces season. There's so much on. It's like we're reaching this precipice, this massive shift, this massive change in the energy. And so many portals, gateways, new beginnings are really coming in very, very, very strongly around uh, the 21st or so, I believe. Sometimes it changes a day or so off. I haven't completely checked, but around the equinox, the spring equinox. So we are really, there's a lot of what feels like new energy, new plans, a new life. You might be experiencing some change coming in this week, or at least starting to see the seeds. This could be travel plans, this could be change in career, change in direction, lots of awakening energy. Okay, lots and lots of awakening energy. So know that when you go through awakening energy, sometimes this could feel at the beginning like you feel a little bit lost, a little ungrounded, a little uncentered. Lots of unknown energy comes in, which tends to create, some spikes in the nervous system, or just this like feeling of I feel off. I'm not really sure what's next. I really don't know where to go. This is okay. This is normal. And as I'm saying this, there's a lot around the throat. Keep in mind that the communication that we have been working on for weeks and weeks and months, really around this throat chakra, this bridge, right, between our ajna and our heart, or what we could consider the masculine and the feminine, between our emotions and our wisdom. Um, and in some ways, continuing to move from within to so without. There is a lot that has been shifting here because it is the gateway. And for a lot of people, especially women, and this could be anyone, even if you're a man in this lifetime, you could have been a woman in another lifetime. Uh, and or you're experiencing it through your own inner feminine. There has been a lot of suppression and repression around the throat, around the truth, around expression, around um, safety. And oh, there's a lot right now. I feel my entire throat sort of on fire right now. So there's a lot that is cleansing and clearing out of this to really help to bridge and reconnect the heart with the wisdom, with the here's the thing. I'm going to say the fourth energy body and the sixth energy body, they are very loosely connected to the heart and the ajna, or the arc line. That being said, it's not definitive, like the energy, the chakra centers and our energy bodies do not necessarily completely align. So I'm using that very loosely. Um, but just know this is the trajectory we have been on. This is the trajectory that we are continuing on. And it is, I imagine, at some point I'm going to come on here and I'm going to say, okay, we have opened this up and we are moving. However, this center right here has been so conditioned for so long that I imagine this is why we're spending so much time and energy really clearing and purifying and bringing in reconnection so we can bring in the codes and connect the puzzle pieces together. Okay, so let's see, what are we starting with this week? Okay, so we have the Lover's card coming in, and we have, okay, we have Leap. And you see Moon. This could also be, now we are coming in on the new moon in Pisces, but Moon energy, okay. And now we have High Priest, okay. Now what's fascinating here Here, let me tell you this one too. Okay, and then we have spirit animal. Okay, so a couple of things I'm noticing right off the bat is so we have the lovers card, which is really like the need to make a decision. Okay, there's a couple of things. This is has to do with inner union, so partnership. It could be external as well with someone you're in a relationship with currently. Um, uh, so marriage, union, connection, and it could also be uh, like I'm feeling like last week we were talking about the pendulum no longer swinging and like the path is chosen. And it's like now, again, like continuing to choose the path. Because remember that the path is something that you have to wake up every day and continue to choose and continue to choose and continue to choose. You are the one guiding the ship. You are the one who is walking this path, and you are the one who have chosen the path. So it feels like it's both. It feels like we're coming into more union type energy this week, that we are perhaps clearing again some more things that are over top of the union. And so we have a lot of like sort of like air energy coming in here. So we have the spirit animal, and you'll notice back here we have the bird, which I'm not sure if this is a hawk. Um, Maybe it's a hawk, but we've got the feather in the, in the headdress. We've got the bird. I'm not sure what kind of bird, but like a hawk, a falcon, something like that here. I don't think it's an eagle, but maybe it is an eagle. Oh, maybe that is an eagle. Maybe this is an eagle. I think maybe actually it's an eagle. And now we've got the high priest. Okay. And you'll see we've got, again, feather energy here. We've got cobra here, kind of like representing the third eye or the sixth arc line protection. Again, bird energy as well. And then we've got her sort of like leaping, this flight, this like spreading your wings, sort of flying, taking a leap type of energy. And so I get a lot of Ma'at. I can never say this correctly, Ma'at. I'm probably saying that, butchering it. I never say it right. Um, Energy, so it feels like coming into balance, judgment. I'm hearing light as a feather, and so there was this belief, right, in ancient Egypt that is very much related to Maat, and it was this idea that like when you die, they weigh your heart against the weight of a feather. And it's like if your heart is heavier than the feather, then that means one thing. But the idea is for it to be balanced, for it to be equal. And so perhaps again, some clearing off of the heart center, some heaviness, some grief, some repressed emotions, some things that have been really impacting your connection, your ability to come in and really starting to anchor in. It's like really starting to anchor in some divine feminine wisdom is what I feel like is coming through here. Um, Also, when we talk about bird, okay, so like this is like very much like high priest, right? So we're talking about like God, like connection to the cosmos, divine nature. This is very like God frequency, but it's also freedom, right? We've got like, she's taking a leap. It's like knowing no bounds, being boundless, being free, really making the choices that are, it feels like a liberation of the heart chakra, and recognizing that the forgiveness, the letting these things go are taking the burden off of the heart, are taking the, and perhaps you may have even experienced. So I always think of the shoulders as as like in between. It could be the throat, it could be the heart, and when we go down our arms, we're talking about the heart meridians, right? And so they're very, there's almost like no line of demarcation. Is this related to my heart chakra? Is this related to my throat chakra? And depending on who you talk to, they'll have a different answer for you. And depending on how you look at it, you could be like, this feels like heart, this feels like throat. And so it feels like this gateway, this sort of portal, releasing the burdens. If any of you have carry a lot of tension, if your shoulders tend to roll forward, any guilt, shame, it feels like there's a lot of father energy here, but not just father, also mother, so parental, that perhaps has been um, a weight in the heart chakra, but also perhaps has been impacting this, right? Has been impacting your ability to feel safe, to fully vocalize, to be heard, to be seen. perhaps some conditioning around good, bad, morality type things. So it feels like really releasing. Oh, as the card went flying, it went flying, you guys. The high priest went flying. So, um, and I'm feeling a lot clearing out, also what feels like the jaw, like jaw, teeth, and then like pressure. There feels like a lot of pressure. And then also still here, the heart meridians, right? Going down the shoulder, going down the arms. So it feels like a lot. Here is clearing out. Let's see if it makes more sense with where we go next. Okay, so we have the Hermit reversed. Okay, Hermit reversed. Hermit reverse. Hermit is nine energy, nine, so like a completion energy. Okay, so we have this with the nine, and you see here we have the apple, right? And sort of like that internal, the five seeds of the apple, we're talking about like the pentagram, um, divine feminine symbology, the apple as well, related to perhaps the Garden of Eden, to the wisdom. Of course, she's got here, no, there's no snake. I was wondering if there was a snake there. But very much related, right, to this feels like, okay, so clearing off. Let's see what else. Peace and harmony, and we have Archangel Raguel. Thank you, Raguel, for surrounding me in harmonious light. Okay, and then we have protection. Sister Circle, call back your power, cut the cord, soul retrieval. Okay, this feels like a clearing. This feels like we're clearing off this. So the hermit energy feels like this very sort of reclusive, shy, unsocial, having a coming off as aloof or feeling perhaps unsafe to connect. And this feels not just an external connection, although that does feel very pertinent, but also perhaps an internal connection, connection to source, connection to your own wisdom, connection to your natural flow, connection to your own internal divine feminine. Um, and there's been a lot of conditioning that has happened around this whole event, around the feminine, around eating the apple, behind wisdom, right? Which is inherently always been thought that like men are wise, right? Like it's like, oh, the men are wise and da 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 da, and the women are emotional. And so it feels like it's saying here, enjoy growth and reap the rewards. So it feels like there is a clearing that is happening right now that has perhaps drawn the feminine inwards and has felt unsafe to be outwardly expressed, that has felt like it was safer. This feels like, for example, um, sorry, let me clear something off my computer that's beeping at us. Uh, okay, so I lost my train of thought. Hold on one second. Okay, so this feels like, for example, esoteric. You know how they have these what are the these secret societies, right, that have existed for eons. And it feels like very related to like we're clearing off the energy of France, of Ireland, of Scotland, of England. It feels like underground mystery schools that have really drawn the teachings of the feminine underground, that have left it sort of secret society type-esque. And at times there were perhaps um, a lot of fear even around doing this because it wasn't safe. It wasn't something that we're supposed to be doing. And if you got caught, you got prosecuted, you got, all of these things. And so it feels like we're clearing everything off that has keeping the feminine deeply sort of underground, that has kept it hidden, sort of in many ways forgotten about on a mass scale, or even within yourself. There is still aspects that you have not, the many of us, right? Because we're still really opening up to all this. This is like 1,000-year kind of thing that's going on, and we're really only at the beginning. And so clearing off where we're making way for feminine wisdom to make its way back to us, but not just the regular, not just any feminine wisdom. It feels like this is coming from within. So this is like pure, deep, original codes of origin kind of energy coming in. And it feels like no more fighting. This feels like we're clearing off of the wisdom, like we're clearing off right now all of this old energy that felt like there was a power struggle between the masculine and the feminine, or the war. It feels like I don't want to fight you anymore. This is what I'm hearing, right? Like, I don't want to fight anymore. I'm done fighting. And it feels like this acceptance coming in, this like energy of like, I want harmony. I want peace. And so it feels like when we come back to this lover's card, it's and remembering the fact that union is a choice. It's where are we still fighting to be right? Where are we still fighting for people to see our point of view or to accept our point of view or to say, this is wrong, this is not how it should be like this, and recognize that that is still contributing to the duality. Now, the truth of the matter is that in union, we're not escaping duality. It's not that everyone is going to think the same way. It is about accepting our differences. It's accepting duality brings us into oneness. It is not erasing duality that brings us into oneness. It's singularity, or this idea that there is a right way and a wrong way, and there's only this one way. That is what creates the fighting, that is creates the war, that creates this inner conflict. And so, regardless of where you live, whether you live in the United States, whether you live in another country, there are all these, everyone is going through things this year. It is really challenging this idea of singularity and recognizing that it's about, I don't want to fight anymore. Show me what is, and how can I work with what is in a way that is harmonious and valuable for me versus this pushing, right, for um things to sort of like pushing for our own agenda is what I'm hearing. So it feels like, okay, so we're clearing off this idea. Perhaps I'm hearing there's been misunderstandings about what union is. There's been misunderstandings about duality. There has been misunderstandings what it is to use our voice. So again, it feels like that pendulum was swinging from I don't speak to like I've got so much to say and I'm gonna fight. And so it's like, it's not about repression and it's not about overreaction. It's about finding the center point, the middle, seeing both sides or as much of the spectrum as you can take in, and finding your own peace, your own balance, your own way. This is your path. This is the path that is available for you to choose it now to come here into the center. And actually, we are not I am not sensing that we are bringing in like you are divinely protected. That is true. And I'm hearing to remind you to really help ground, because some of us are going through what feels like a lot of rattling in the nervous system, this feeling of not safe and uncertainty, and the unknown is like glaring right now. But to recognize at the same time, you don't need protection. We're clearing off this idea that we need to be protected, that it is only when we are not present and not conscious and not the breath. They're showing me the breath again, like coming back into the breath. When we are not in one, when we're in this sort of like fighting energy, that we feel that we need the protection. And so this is actually clearing back the ideas, the beliefs, the perceptions, the energies that have come in that have convinced us we need protection, that have kept us sort of doing this with each other and thinking that if we need protection, there must be a right way and there must be a wrong way. So it's like they're showing me these inversions, and again, how it's all linked right to each other, that has kind of kept us in these loops. Um, Time and time and time again, replaying the same ideas, the same patterns over and over again, because there has been misunderstanding, and that keeps coming in. There's been misunderstanding. And so we're clearing, we're making way for divine feminine wisdom to remember the original codes, to remember the original ways of being, to really open ourselves up to more freedom, to release the burdens, and to come back into our own center point. Okay. It's only half of the card so far. Okay. So then we have King of Wands coming in with the signs from heaven sending you. Thank you, heaven, for sending me reminders of peace. Okay, I want to show you here once again. We have the feathers coming in. Again, a very deeply spiritual, divine reference. Um, Connection, right, to the other side, recognition that you may be receiving some synchronicities this week to really show you, hey, you're on the right path. Hey, go this way. Really pay attention this week. And it may literally be feathers. I know I get feathers, but start to pay attention to the synchronicities that are showing up that are going to help guide you forward on this path. And then we have Heart Guardian here. Now, what's interesting is you'll see she has a heart here and it's sort of blossoming up towards the throat. She as well has the wings here going on, and she's got a rose. Okay, so when we talk about this, it feels like the heart really moving up. We have the red, and when I think of red, it's like passion, it's love, it's also root center grounding. This could be very much priestess of the rose lineage, which is very much related to that energy red. Red also is very much with the teacher energy and moving up. So almost feels like this like Kundalini type energy moving up into the throat. So again, more awakening energy, really awakening the heart, the throat, I should say, awakening the throat into the wisdom of the heart. Um, the wisdom that the emotions carry. And when we talk about, Rose, we're talking about this is very feminine energy. This is expansion. This is moving on. This is balance, enlightenment type of energy, heart guardian. Okay, so we have King of Wands, and then interestingly enough, we have a no card. Now, what I find fascinating is you'll see there is sort of this pyramid in the background. It feels like there is a storm going on here. There's lightning, sort of the shock awe, perhaps, and it feels like many of us are already experiencing that shock and awe, like we're in the shock and awe um right now. So when we talk about now we had the high priest come in, right? And this feels very aligned with King of Wands energy, very much divine masculine wisdom, um, paternal, right? So this could be also related to, again, the father energy. But it's also could be like really good, like, I don't know, like a windfall, like abundance coming in, those sort of things. But it feels like perhaps if it is abundance, it's more like inherited, familial, type of like abundance. And what I'm feeling more so than money is it feels like an unlocking of genetic codes, a liberation of some of the gifts within the family line that have been suppressed underneath some of these um, entity interferences, belief systems, conditioning that have kind of kept them under lock and key, is what I'm hearing. And so it feels like sort of an unlocking of, and this again, this feels very like we're having a lot of feminine and masculine both showing up within this. And this actually, oddly enough, feels very motherly to me. So it feels almost like a unification within of both your maternal and fraternal bloodlines, um, almost you merging right into one. Uh, Very much so. And the no, what is the no? The no. Feels like this is really more of a call to trust your own intuition, to trust the path, and listen for what it's trying to tell you. So it feels almost like there's going to be a flip, okay? Because traditionally, even if you are used to using your intuition, it feels like either using it without masculine structure to support it, or a tendency to still use logic without the intuition because the intuition was not supported. So it feels almost like, okay, so then build the structure. Okay, so then build the structure. Um, that is coming in. Like, okay, now is time. It's coming online. The wisdom is coming in. Now we're going to have to build um, our capacity to hold it as well as the structures. I'm seeing neural pathways right now to be able to communicate, embody, and understand this information that to note that this does take time. I'm being shown a clock that this does take a little bit of time. Okay, and so no, do not make major decisions. They're like, do not make major decisions this week. Hold on. The energy is still shifting. You're in a lot of unknown right now. There's a new beginning. There are new changes. We're getting ready to like move into a massive like shift in the astrology as we make our way from between Pisces and Aries into springtime. There's a lot shifting. So it's like, hey, some of you, and it feels like also related to some of the change coming in. You're not really sure where to go, and it's like just pause, just wait. Now is a time, almost it feels like very internal. Internal. We're clearing off the internal, and it's a very internal time. Okay, so then we have the Seven of Cups. Interesting, because Seven of Cups I always relate to sort of like being decisive, but at the same time, it's like you have a tendency to be head in the clouds, like very much in your imagination, sort of like, but then also, so imagination, but then also like it could be the repression of what you really want kind of energy. And this is coming with express your creativity, which we have gotten a lot. You might notice, again, she's using her voice. We've got the wings. And this feels very much like, again, the express your creativity, the throat chakra, the speaking. And I want to be clear, speaking doesn't necessarily have to be spoken. It could also be the written word. So it could be writing, but it feels like speaking, toning, singing, all of these sort of things. And I feel like that's going to actually help to anchor some of this in. Then we've got the stag. This is very paternal energy, by the way, father energy. This feels like clearing the ego, pride. This is also protection and sort of guidance type energy. You may have been feeling, if your dad's around, still alive, you may have been noticing, or you may notice in the coming weeks, this feel like you're revisiting some of the things that happened in your childhood, or you want to talk to him or communicate with him. And if he's not, you may be feeling his presence a little bit more this week, as it feels like he's really trying to hold space. That paternal bloodline is really trying to hold space to help clear and create the new structure for this sort of maternal, sort of like feminine, divine feminine bloodline, wisdom, gifts, energy, the sort of rebirth of her here on the planet. And so he's very much involved in doing this. And it's not just paternal, as in like your dad. This is also the masculine, and this is also the entire paternal bloodline, right? Which there are millions of people in that bloodline. It also feels very earth, sort of anchoring, again, anchoring in the divine feminine, awakening the divine feminine consciousness here on earth, that he is really holding the space to help create the structures. And then we have the ever unfolding rose. And cracked open, it's happening for you, not you. So again, this rose appears to be sort of white, pinkish, peachish, different colors. Couple, so there's actually three roses in this picture. So again, this feels expansion. It feels like we're moving on from the current spiral, right? So we're always just kind of like going deeper and deeper and deeper. And it feels like, okay, now we go to the next one. Okay, and now we go to the next one. And so, sort of this geometry of the rose that is also really holding space to clear, to that's kind of overseeing. I'm getting this, that it's kind of like overseeing everything, and it is helping to clear and move and shift a lot of this energy out for us this week so that we can bring all of this in. And then it's also holding space to awaken and expand what's next. And that is what feels like is happening. It feels like we have been sort of on a very similar theme for, I don't know, probably since fall. And now it feels like, okay, and now we're getting ready to go deeper. So, divine, feminine, lots of awakening, conscious energy, masculine holding space, coming into union, really starting to come back into balance, into harmony, letting go and clearing off the judgment, the heaviness, the righteousness, the the fighting energy that perhaps has been present within us, within our relationships, within the collective. Um, and lots of changes coming in, right? Like travel, movement, leaps, quantum leaps are on the precipice. They're very, very close. So we've got a lot of moving parts this week. It may not feel like I'm showing that it may not feel like it's all gonna like come together or make sense this week because it won't. Stay tuned. And so no big major decisions this week because there's going to be a lot clearing and shifting, and it may feel like, oh, this is the way, and they're like, nope. Hold the course. Hold the course. Hold the course. More information to drop soon. All awakenings will appear a certain way because it will feel almost like you're brought into this shadow frequency. But remember, that's just let the spiral continue to unfold and it will bring you out of the shadow and into the light, which is where I'm hoping we're going over the next couple of weeks. Okay, that is the energy update for this week. If you found this helpful, please give it a like, subscribe, share it, let people know that I am doing these energy updates, these energy forecasts every single week. If you want this delivered directly to your inbox, you can click below and you can join my newsletter, and that way it is always going to show up directly there and you don't have to go looking for it. I look forward to seeing you on next week's energy forecast.